What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. It's been a while since I did a scenario where the villain wins, and a while since I did a what if mini in general. For Halloween this is a perfect time though. Just be warned though, this is a scenario where King Piccolo wins. I mean, it's in the title. If you want a scenario where Goku wins, well, read Dragon Ball. It's a pretty good what if. This story is going to be a bit of an idea of what King Piccolo's conquest might have looked like if he managed to win somehow. And I personally think the way I've written it is going to be more interesting than just King Piccolo wins and takes over the world. It is a Halloween special after all, so I should have fun with it. Anyways, let's begin discussing what might have happened if King Piccolo won. Of course, our story starts with King Piccolo versus Goku. Up to this point, everything's happened exactly the same way. We're at the point where Goku launches his final attack against King Piccolo. But here, it's not going to work out like it originally did. Maybe Piccolo had a little bit more energy and it was just enough to regenerate. Maybe Goku's attack didn't fully penetrate through King Piccolo. Maybe it just wasn't enough power in general, or a mix of all those. Whatever the case, the attack doesn't work. King Piccolo is able to regenerate from it. Just barely though. Goku's on his last leg too. Even Piccolo's amazed at his own power. That kid did come close to beating him. But in the end, he's going to claim the victory that he sought out. King Piccolo barely has any power left, but at least the two people around him are pretty injured anyways, with Goku and Ten being eliminated. And now, nothing stands in King Piccolo's way. Although, Goku does stick in his mind. He was quite the great warrior. But no one will ever live up to his strength, so that makes Piccolo content. He's unstoppable now. He even notices a ship floating nearby, the one with Goku's friends on it, immediately shooting it down. It makes him think too. He could do this alone, but he's gonna need some henchmen again. Which won't be too hard considering he could just spit up eggs. This will definitely help on his conquest, especially making it more widespread. He creates more sons, trying to reform the ones who died. They aren't the exact same, but they look pretty similar, and he has an extra son too. All of them have the same names, just not the same memories. And it takes time to spit up all the eggs. But all those sons are born fully grown. However, that extra son, the last one, he's different. Piccolo put special care into him. Initially, if Goku did defeat him, he was just going to rebirth himself, reincarnating himself into a new Piccolo. And he doesn't want to let that idea go to waste. He's not reincarnating himself though, just having a son that's made perfectly in his image. His youngest son is born as a kid, not fully grown like the others. But he also looks very different from the others, just like a younger version of Piccolo himself. But this son will also be his strongest son when he's fully grown. His brothers are demons, but just like his father, this kid is born as a traditional Namekian, donning the same name as his father, referred to as Piccolo Jr. Piccolo's conquest continues. He rules over the entire Earth now. All the strong warriors have been defeated. Of course, armies do try and rise up against him, but it's not like they can do anything. There is one person that might be able to help though, and that's Kami. Although, the idea that he has is pretty drastic. He could kill himself to kill Piccolo, but even if he does that, that will still leave his sons behind too. But he does have one idea. He could recreate Shenron. Maybe he could reverse all of this. So, he gets to work recreating Shenron. This could save Earth. This is their only course of action. He could even bring back those warriors that died. But he has to hurry. He doesn't do this immediately after. This is the last resort after all the warriors are killed. And as he's creating a new Shenron, he also has to keep watch on the surface too, just to see what's happening, to see if the damage is getting any worse. He can see all of King Piccolo's sons there, even the new one that was born. But he doesn't have sight of King Piccolo anymore, not knowing of where he went. He tries looking everywhere he can for King Piccolo's presence. Shenron's completed. Concerned, Kami immediately goes to summon him. But before he could say the incantation, a hand wraps around the lookout, then grabbing onto Kami's face. King Piccolo then walks towards him, retracting his arm, with an unconscious Popo held in the other arm. He knew Kami was going to try and do something. He thought maybe Kami would kill himself, but he didn't think that he would do this. Whatever the case though, he needed to stop Kami. And the more he's fighting and getting used to his youth, the more he's starting to realize he has all these weird different powers now. He regenerated from that dire attack basically on instinct. He could stretch his arms out like this too. He has so many unique properties that he's not using in battle. Maybe it's because of that Goku kid. It got him thinking of different ways to fight, realizing the different abilities that he has too. But it's not like Kami will be any sort of challenge. Although, he can't necessarily kill Kami. He did actually plan on holding Kami hostage, maybe sealing him away using that Mafuba technique. Or, by holding him hostage, he could try and force Kami to merge into him. But Piccolo has a much better idea. He thanks Kami for gathering all the Dragon Balls for him too. And not just that, creating a new Shenron as well. But Piccolo might not need to kill this one. He actually has a better idea. Piccolo summons Shenron. And he has a simple wish: merge Kami into himself. Shenron looks visibly nervous, knowing that this involves his creator. Kami even tries to attack Piccolo in the process, charging ki around his hand and slicing Piccolo's arm off. He then tries to do the exact thing that Piccolo did, launching a blast at Shenron. Trying to kill the dragon, it's the fastest thing he can do, but nothing happens. The blast doesn't hit in time. The wish is granted, and Kami is merged into Piccolo, a forcible Namekian fusion. King Piccolo was already strong as is, but knew that he was still missing something, and instead of wasting Kami's power, he might as well just take it for himself, reform into that same being he was before, although he retains control now. He feels a massive boost in power, as Kami disappears, being merged into Piccolo. The Dragon Balls fall to the ground, dormant now. but Piccolo's too amazed with his power to even notice, and when he looks over, he doesn't even care. It's not like he needs the Dragon Balls anymore, and if he did want them, now he has every bit of Kami's abilities. While this is somewhat similar to Namekian fusion, by doing it through the Dragon Balls, he gets everything that Kami had too. So yes, the Dragon Balls disappeared, but King Piccolo knows how to create them again if he needs to. He's essentially that nameless Namekian from before, but far better than he could have ever imagined. And not like the one that we saw in the Cell Saga either. This one's different. Although, Kami's influence is in there a bit. At best, it might dampen King Piccolo's evil a little bit, but not nearly enough to turn him good or anything. He still is very much evil. If anything, just a little bit more level-headed. All his sons come up to the lookout too, seeing that Piccolo now has true control over Earth. Not only ruling over the humans, but having control of this heavenly realm. It's a good thing that Kami decided to make a new set of Dragon Balls. It left him too distracted to notice Piccolo coming up here, and, better yet, gave him another wish from Shenron. How generous of his better half. Earth enters a weird new era, with King Piccolo as the ruler. Thankfully, with some more influence from Kami, he's not destroying everything. But again, he's still evil. He's a dictator, holding total power over everyone, with his sons enforcing it too. He's an incredibly strict ruler, but also more fair than he would have been if he didn't absorb Kami. And also a slightly charismatic dictator too. The world isn't thrown into chaos. Piccolo could easily do that, but what's the point of ruling a world if it's in ruin? He does want to keep it intact after all. Of course, some uprisings do occur. It's only natural. But they're even more useless than before. It's not like they would have worked anyways, but now with all this power, King Piccolo's not going to be stopped by mere humans. Even if a warrior like Goku rose up again, that wouldn't do anything. And it's not like any other people like Goku will come to Earth soon. Many years pass. The Earth readjusts to this weird new period. There's even another world tournament held, although it's held in Piccolo's honor this time. And he watches the battle actually somewhat entertained. This time he's not going to kill all the contestants though. He watches the final battle, seeing the two apparent strongest people on Earth at the moment. It's a fight between some woman named Chi-Chi and some cyborg guy named Tao, with Tao winning this battle and the tournament as a whole. Both the finalists came here expecting to see other people, although it was kind of a long shot after what King Piccolo did. And he watches over content. If those two are the strongest that Earth has to offer, well, even his weakest sons could defeat them with no effort. Because it's not like his sons haven't been doing anything. They've been enforcing this rule, growing stronger in the meantime, especially the youngest son, Piccolo Jr., who's actually the strongest of them, with Piccolo proud of all his sons. Despite being ruled over by King Piccolo, Earth actually remains somewhat stable. But one day King Piccolo senses something strange. A somewhat strong warrior is approaching him, and he's not too sure who it is. He's currently in his castle right now. But he expects a fight's about to break out, so he walks out of it. And in the front, he sees a man with long hair laying there, with a weird device strapped to his face. It's Raditz. He reads his scouter, a power level of 500. And is that a Namekian? This is the strongest power he found on Earth, although he did find some other strong ones nearby. Still, none of them match him though. Piccolo asks him to explain who he is and why he's here. Why come see the great Demon King? The Demon King? What, does he rule over this planet or something? Kakarot hasn't killed everyone like he was supposed to. And more importantly, why is there a strong Namekian here who's supposedly ruling this planet? He says that he's looking for Kakarot, and if King Piccolo values his life, he'll tell him where he is. This does anger King Piccolo, but he just laughs it off. He should be more respectful to the king, but he has no clue who this Kakarot is. Although, he does notice the tail around Raditz's waist. Could it be? And he wonders, could Raditz explain this Kakarot warrior that he's talking about? As he paints a description, King Piccolo gets a good image in his head, just like he thought. So, Kakarot's this guy's brother. And it sounds like a pretty accurate description of Goku. He's sorry to burst Raditz's bubble. His brother Goku was a great warrior, but King Piccolo killed him long ago. Kakarot's dead? Well, that explains why everyone here is still alive. And this pisses Raditz off. First of all, he came here for nothing, and he's gonna come back empty-handed. He should show this King Piccolo guy some real power. But before they battle, King Piccolo asks for some more info, just wondering about who he is and why he's here. He learns about the Saiyans, learning about Frieza too. Interesting. Raditz is also only saying this because he plans to kill King Piccolo anyways. He might as well let King Piccolo know who killed him. And once Piccolo gets all the info he needs, he thanks Raditz. An aura flares up around him. Raditz's eyes widen. The power on the scouter explodes upwards. Before it was just 500, and now it's climbing. It's in the thousands, then tens of thousands. And it keeps growing, but the scouter explodes. What is he witnessing right now? King Piccolo points a finger out, with a blast expanding outwards from it, instantly and completely eradicating Raditz. His sons all stand by near him, having heard this all too. They have pretty big ears after all. A Saiyan, that must be what Goku is, and that Frieza guy. Apparently he's some sort of emperor. Well, King Piccolo clearly can't have that, and he sees an opportunity here. Maybe his empire can grow even further. And a few things come out of this. His sons end up taking Raditz's ship, eventually finding it not too far away. His sons have grown powerful through their training too, but also have gained some strength through the merger, which really surprised King Piccolo, but also it's not too strange. He did split some of his power with them, especially with Piccolo Jr. He didn't realize that merging with Kami would make him this strong. He knew he'd be whole again, but he didn't think it would be like this. And also some of his memories coming back to him too. A Namekian. That's what he is? Yeah, that actually does sound familiar now. some of it's coming back to him. He has no desire to see his home planet though, and they start scheming, planning to expand the empire even further. However, his sons are much crueler than King Piccolo, and he lets them do whatever they please, with Piccolo Jr. being the one to lead everything, and he's got some good ideas in mind for this plan. With Raditz' ship, they're able to employ some of the top scientists to recreate the technology. And it does take a bit, but they make their own fleet of ships. The Empire King Piccolo just leapt forward in terms of tech. But also, they're about to leap forward in terms of outreach. Piccolo might even birth more sons, but that could wait for a bit, as Piccolo Jr. heads out with his brothers, telling his father he has something very good in mind. This does take a while, and they're not going to attack Frieza right away either. First, they expand the Empire by just taking over other planets nearby, but also they do seek out some other places. In the meantime, Vegeta and Nappa never come to Earth either. First of all, they don't really have a reason to. There's no Saiyans there, they don't know about the Dragon Balls, and most importantly, whoever's there is pretty strong. Going there to fight him seems like a death wish, and there's no reason to pick a fight there. The Frieza Force does eventually get word about some army going around though. It's very small, but it's apparently comprised of Namekians. It's an elite group of strong warriors. Rumor has it is that they can control their power really well, even raising their ki at a moment's notice. And Piccolo Jr. is able to find out some great info, learning more about Namekians and who they are, which makes him wonder, could there be another set of Dragon Balls out there? It could be interesting to see another set be used. Of course, King Piccolo could create his own, but they wonder about the power of another set. Maybe it's stronger than something that King Piccolo could create. Or maybe not, but it's at least worth checking out and trying to expand the Empire even further, especially because they don't want anyone else getting Dragon Balls. That's the biggest reason they want to seek them out. Years and years pass. Meanwhile on Earth, Dr. Gero eventually does activate his androids, with Gero immediately being killed by his creations right after. There's no Goku for them to kill, now it's King Piccolo. Although, it's not like the androids are going to have great data to work off of. They have some data from King Piccolo, but don't know the true extent of his power, and then they have data from Raditz too. That's really it. They're made to be pretty strong, but not nearly as strong as they were in canon. And they're causing chaos in King Piccolo's empire, so of course he's going to do something about that. For the first time in a while, the king is in a battle. And it's not going to be a walk in the park either. He faces androids 17 and 18. Too bad for them, he's unstoppable. And sure, with the two of them together, they do a good job. But they don't know the full extent of King Piccolo's power. Over these past years, he's learned more and more about himself, learned more about how to use his powers properly, especially ever since he learned that he's a Namekian. His sons have also relayed some good info to him, especially Piccolo Jr., who's picked up some new tricks along the way. King Piccolo's far stronger than Dr. Gero accounted for, and the androids, well, they're too weak to take on King Piccolo. It's a tough fought battle, and he does commend how good they are as warriors. But he defeats them too, finding it kind of funny to see the Red Ribbon Army return, hoping that's the last of them. He even takes it upon himself to have his army find out where they came from, with this army being comprised of actual human soldiers. They end up finding Gero's lab, and once they find that there's other androids in there, King Piccolo simply decimates it, killing the dormant androids, including 16 and Cell. Not long after this, King Piccolo's sons surprisingly return to Earth, and they come bearing a gift, a set of Dragon Balls, a very large set in fact. They're much larger than the ones here on Earth. They were able to steal these from Namek, and while they know King Piccolo could just create his own set, they wondered what this one would be able to do. Especially because it's separate from him, they could use it to awaken even more dormant power within him, especially because they might need that. They have encountered some of Frieza's forces, and while they did win those battles, they know that encountering Frieza himself might be bad. They're all powerful, but they don't know if it'll be enough to fight Frieza, and this could be the key to fully expanding their empire. So, Piccolo decides to make a wish on this set of Dragon Balls, wondering if this dragon will be greater than Shenron. He summons Porunga on Earth. What could he wish for? Well, he needs to be truly unstoppable, and thankfully, Porunga grants him 3 wishes. First off, he wishes for immortality. He already has eternal youth, but this is more assurance. His second wish is pretty interesting. He wishes to have unlimited stamina. Those androids did interest him, and especially now that he knows about his regeneration and such, this could really help his abilities. Although now that he's immortal, he doesn't need to worry about regenerating anymore, but he still can run out of energy, so this could be a good wish. And as his third wish, he tells Porunga to awaken all his latent power. Porunga disappears as a weird aura surrounds King Piccolo. The Dragon Balls ascend up in the air and spread around Earth. Piccolo feels an immense surge of power. Porunga awakened all his power, but King Piccolo could feel something extra within that. He powers up completely, astonishing all of his sons. The area that they're in is completely leveled, with a fiery aura surrounding King Piccolo, and as it dissipates, they could see him more clearly. He's larger, buffer, and more notably, he's completely orange. But his power is the most interesting part. They always knew he was strong, but this is leagues beyond that. It makes his previous power look like nothing. King Piccolo isn't sure what this is, but he knows that with this power, he could rule the universe next. He already fought those mechanical warriors here on Earth. Frieza? He's gonna be no problem. And any other threat that comes here, King Piccolo will be able to defeat them. This is the start of a new era in his empire. The influence of King Piccolo is about to spread across galaxies. He congratulates his sons, proud of their work. And you know what? Earth will be a good place to keep his headquarters. You know, when he's ruling the entire galaxy and everything beyond it. As King Piccolo looks to his future, this is where we'll end off. What'd you guys think about this short story? I might continue it in the future because there is some things that are left open, but I think this is a good spot to end it at least. Although if you do want to see it continued, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It lets me know that you want to see more like this, and it really does help out the channel too. Anyways, thank you all for watching, happy Halloween, and I'll see you all in my next video.